All right, a very warm welcome. So in this session we'll be revising the chapter of joint products and byproducts in costing. All right, please note it is a revision lecture. So in case you guys have not done this chapter before, then this will not help you much. So you all guys need to understand the fact that you need to do this chapter at least once. You have to go through all the questions at least once, and then only then will this session help you, to revise the entire chapter. So without wasting much time, let us start the chapter. Okay, so let us first start with the chapter's objective. Now the main objective of this chapter is to allocate the common costs among all the joint products. बराबर. So let us first understand कि अपना objective क्या है. It is allocation of something called as common costs. Now let us go a little in depth. Common costs. What do you mean by common costs? Common costs are nothing but costs incurred which are common for production of both the products. Now you guys will tell which are the two products. Now the meaning of joint products is the fact that one common process is going to yield or produce two or more than two products simultaneously, whether we intend to produce or not. आप अपना इंटेंशन था प्रोड्यूस करने का, अपना इंटेंशन नहीं था प्रोड्यूस करने का, दैट इज सेकेंडरी. इफ एनी टू प्रोडक्ट्स और मोर देन टू प्रोडक्ट्स आर प्रोड्यूस जॉइंटली और साइमल्टेनियसली बाय वन कॉमन प्रोसेस, द एंटायर थिंग इज कॉल्ड अ जॉइंट प्रोडक्ट और अ बाय प्रोडक्ट. दोनों में थोड़ा डिफरेंस है. आई विल कम टू इट लेटर. सो एज ऑफ नाउ वी विल यूज द टर्म जॉइंट प्रोडक्ट्स एंड बाय प्रोडक्ट्स ऑल्टरनेटिवली. So that is the meaning of joint products. ठीक है. Now what do you mean by common cost? Obviously common cost means any cost incurred before the two products became separately identifiable. The two products will become separately identifiable at the point of split off. A point where product A and product B or product C, as the cases, can become identifiable separately will be the point of split off. So whichever costs are incurred before the point of split off are said to be common costs. Why? Because they are incurred commonly for all the three products produced together. Whatever costs are incurred for A, for B and for C, after A, B and C have their unique identity, those costs will not be common costs because they are not incurred commonly for both or all the three products. बराबर. That is why any costs incurred before the point of split off will be called as common costs. And this chapter has the objective of allocation of these common costs among all the products. ये अपना chapter का objective है. ठीक है. Now generally the common costs are generally maybe fixed or variable in nature, because it could be costs per kg of raw materials processed. It could be a common fixed cost as well. वो अपना लेना देना नहीं है. Whatever costs are incurred up to the point of split off are all common cost, and my job is to allocate these common costs among all my joint products. ये अपना objective है. Moving on. Now once we know कि अपने को cost allocate करना है, now the next question is how do we allocate the costs? Now there are three major methods of cost allocation in this chapter. The first method or the best method is the sales value method. Now talking about sales value method, what is the formula of the sales value ratio? Simple है, the sales value has to be of the output, but उसमें condition है. Now at the point of split off, I had told A, B and C is produced together. So A, B and C are joint products. Now if all these three joint products have a selling price, if all these three joint products have a selling price at the point of split off, only then can the first method be used to allocate their costs. Now what is the selling price? Selling price is obviously what is the market wanting to pay for buying these products. So in case all the three products A, B and C in my example have a selling price at the point of split off, then the first method can be used, and the formula is nothing but output into selling price. Now note that output may the quantity produced can be different than the quantity sold. I can produce 1000 kgs of say product A. I can produce say 2000 kgs of product B at the point of split off. But out of 1000 and out of 2000 in my example, maybe I am able to sell half of it or 3/4 of it or 1/4 of it as the case is. I am not concerned in this method with the sale quantity. I always take the output and the selling price, multiply both and get the numbers, and this is the number of ratio in which the joint cost is going to be allocated between the 2 or 3 products as the case is. So output into selling price is the ratio in which the costs are going to be allocated. The logic behind this is the fact that whichever product has a higher cost should share higher, higher selling value will share higher cost because it has the potential to absorb more costs. बराबर? अगर कोई product का selling price is half of the other product, then उसका capacity ही नहीं है उतना to absorb all the joint costs. So it is only fair. It's only fair that all the cost will be shared in the ratio of the sales value of the output produced. Never take the sales. The question may give a sales output as well to confuse you guys, but that is to be taken in the cost sheet for profit computation. अगर sales दिया है तो total cost has to be compared with the sale value to get the profit. बराबर? But don't take this output for allocation of joint cost in the first method. That's my first method of sales value. Let's talk about the next best method, that is notional sales value. Simple. The word notional means as if, agar or if, what if. Now suppose at the point of split off, if the selling price is not available, if selling price is not available at the point of split off, then in that case you go to the next best method being notional sales value, because अगर SP available नहीं है at the point of split off, then the first method fails, because the first method's formula is output into SP at split off. But अगर तुम्हारा SP ही available नहीं है at split off, then the method will fail. So we go to the next best method, that is my notional sales value method. ठीक है, अब तुम बोलोगे अगर SP नहीं हो तुम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं? See, my main objective of producing goods is obviously to sell them. So अगर तुम्हारा selling price is not available at the point of split off, then something has to be done after the point of split off so that the product can have a selling price to make it sellable. This is called post separation costs. When A became A, when B became B, and when C became C, they are now separated. Now if they are not having selling price at this stage, I will incur some costs on the products and make it sellable, and these costs are called post separation costs. And the formula for notional sales value is nothing but the final sales value. I'll write this down. It is the final sale value minus the post separation cost. I'm writing PS cost for shortcut. It is post separation costs. Now what do you mean by final sales value? Again the same thing. Once I incur some costs after the products became identifiable, then the product may have become sellable. So maybe split off पे sellable नहीं था because वो unfinished था, तो अपन ने cost incur किया, उसको finish कर दिया, and now it is sellable. That selling price is called the final selling price because this selling price is not available at the point of split off. Only then will I get the final selling price. So final selling price into the output will give you the final sales value. This final sales value minus my post separation cost is going to be called as the notional sale value. This notional sales value is the basis of allocation of the joint cost, which means notional sales value of A is to notional sales value of B is to notional sales value of C. This is the basis of cost allocation. of the joint costs. This is as good as saying that if the product was sellable at the point of split off, this value, notional sales value, is something that the market could have given us, because once we incurred the cost, the selling price increased, so I subtract the cost again to come back to a notional selling price, that if I sold the product at this stage, तुम्हारा sales value approximately ये होगा. ये कोई ground rule नहीं है, it is simply an approximation. One more thing before we go to the next method. Suppose in my example A, B and C were the joint products. ठीक है. Now A and B do not have a selling price at the point of split off, and maybe C has a selling price at the point of split off. बराबर. Then in that case we will use the notional sales value of A and B, because normal sale value was not available, and we will use the normal sale value of C. So my ratio of cost allocation will be notional sales value of A is to notional sales value of B is to normal sales value of C, because C का SP available था. Just because A and B is notional, तुम जबरदस्ती C को notional मत करो. The rule is always find notional only if normal selling price is not available at the point of split off. It's more like a substitute. तो अगर C का normal selling price available है at the point of split off, then do not go आगे and come back. बराबर. So I will use notional for A, notional for B and normal sales value for C, and this is the ratio for allocation of joint cost. अपन ने एक sum भी किया है, I think AXC and BXC का, उसमें we have used all these concepts. So it's a very good sum for revising. Coming back, the second method is also done, that is notional sales value. Then let us discuss the third method, is the output method. Frankly, the output method is a very uncommon method. We generally do not use the output value method unless we are told specifically to use the output method. Reason being, output can be equal, say 1000 kgs of A, 1000 kgs of B and 1000 kgs of C. तो अगर तुम्हारा आउटपुट इक्वल है, तो जस्ट बिकॉज द आउटपुट इज इक्वल, इट डज नॉट मेक सेंस टू एलोकेट द कॉस्ट on equal basis, because their respective selling price could be different. One product could be charging a higher selling price, the other could be charging a lower selling price. One product can be catering to a different market, the other could be catering to a different market. So just because the output is same, the cost can't go exact equal in all the three products. But in case the question specifically asks, तो तुम एक्स्ट्रा बुद्धि लगा के ये मत लिख के आओ कि आउटपुट मेथड प्रेफर्ड नहीं है. अगर क्वेश्चन ने पूछा है तो तुम आउटपुट का मेथड से भी सॉल्व करके आओ. ऑल आई एम सेइंग इज यू ऑलवेज ट्राई एंड सॉल्व द क्वेश्चन एज पर नॉर्मल सेल्स वैल्यू मेथड. इफ एसवी मेथड फेल्स, ओनली देन गो टू नोशनल, and if the question specifically mentions do output method, only then do the output method. Fine, these were the three methods by which we allocate the costs, and the main objective, as we discussed in point number 1, was the fact that my objective is to allocate a joint cost. So my objective is done, the three methods are also done. We have discussed what the point of split off also is. Moving on, the next type of sums we have solved in this chapter is the reverse cost sheet method. याद है तुमको? Now when to do reverse cost sheet method? Very simple. See, now if the question asks us to allocate costs, then in that case we will be finding the profits, obviously, because अगर cost तुमको allocate करने बोला है, तुमको अगर selling price दिया होगा, sales value दिया होगा, then in that case the only thing left is the profit. So if cost is to be allocated, then it is us who find the profits, because sales will be given, cost we have allocated, and we find the profits, a balancing figure. If the question gives the sales, if the questions gives the profit as well, then in that case you do a reverse cost sheet. Sales दिया है, target profit दिया होगा, so sales known, target profit known, balancing figure क्या हो सकता है? Balancing figure obviously cost होगा, because sales is known and profit is known. तो अगर balancing figure cost है, this obviously is the cost for that particular period, because sales and profit दिया रहेगा, so cost can't be of the goods produced, it has to be of the cost of goods sold, because sales minus cost of goods sold is the profit. So if profit is given, it's very obvious that they have, or we are going to get the total cost of goods sold. So sales known, profit known, will get total cost of goods sold. Total cost of goods sold में से they will obviously give us the value of the post separation costs, जो मैंने यहाँ पे explain किया था, post separation costs. when the sales is known, when the profit is known, and when the post separation costs are also known, इधर गया, then in that case the balancing figure only has to be the share in the joint costs. बराबर, मतलब कैसा दिया होगा, there will be one column for particulars, there will be 2 or 3 columns for 2 or 3 products. Every product's sale value in that period will be given to us. So products is given, particulars are given, and the sales value are given. Then subtracts the profit, because profit may be given to us. Profit could be given as a percentage of cost, or it could be as a percentage of sales, depending on the data. You take 1/4, 3/4 as the cases, and subtract the profit from the sales. Once I have all the products ka sales, once I have their respective products ka profits as well, so I will get the next line balancing figure as total cost. From total cost of A, total cost of B, total cost of C, the question has to give us the post separation costs. Whatever costs are incurred after A became A, B became B, and C became C. So when all these things happen, these are called my post separation costs, and post separation costs will be incurred only after point of split off. Total cost known, post separation cost known, the balancing figure are only going to represent the share in the joint cost. बराबर. One more thing मुझे याद है from share of joint cost, once we allocate the costs, we would get the respective products का share in the total cost, and when we prepare the cost sheet for respective products, this cost sheet is going to start as or from the first line, and the first line will be share in the joint cost, and only then will the further direct materials come, further direct labor come, further factory overheads will come, further admin cost will come, S&D cost will come. So all I'm saying is, once we allocate the costs on the basis of sales value method or notional sales value method or the output method, ये सब करने के बाद if the question asks us to prepare a cost sheet, then in that case the cost sheet is going to start from share in joint cost, and the share in joint cost is what we have already found by using the 3 methods. So reverse cost sheet, start from sales, profit दिया है, so bottom line, when profits are given, you always have to solve the question depending on the reverse cost sheet method. इसका भी logic simple है. See, if you allocate the cost basis the notional sales value method or sales value method, then you are going to get maybe some different profits जो given profit से match नहीं होगा. फिर balancing figure क्या होगा? तो ये सब मेहनत करने से अच्छा you always have the sales, you subtract the profits, you get the cost, subtract the post separation cost, and balancing figure will be the share in joint cost. And we have seen in the question that we have solved in the class that the total share in joint costs of all the products A, B and C are ultimately going to be totaling the total joint costs. ये भी अपने बहुत बार सम्स किया हुआ है. So bottom line, when the profits are given, you always make a reverse cost sheet. Balancing figure is going to be the share in joint costs. बराबर. तो अपना हो गया reverse cost sheet method अपना as well, and we have done the output method as well. Now the next we are going to discuss in this chapter, what we had done is the depth in processing as a concept. याद तुमको depth in processing काफी interesting concept था depth in processing का. Now, what do you mean by depth in processing? Now, let's go back to original concept. Joint product है अपना, A, B and C were produced together, and A, B and C all have a selling price at the point of split off. So let's take an example. A has a selling price of say 100, B has a selling price of say 80, and C has a selling price of say 150. These selling price of A, B and C are at the point of split off. ठीक है. Now before we go ahead, suppose the selling price is available at the point of split off, then in that case tell me which method will you use to allocate the cost. Very simple, you always use the sale value method, मेजरली बिकॉज तीनों प्रोडक्ट्स का आउटपुट पता है अपने को, क्वेश्चन में दिया होगा, एंड सेलिंग प्राइस भी दिया हुआ है. सो आउटपुट इनटू सेलिंग प्राइस यू विल गेट सम नंबर, एंड दैट इज द नंबर in which the joint cost should be allocated depending on the ratio. बराबर. So that is the basic thing. ठीक है. Now suppose you can process A, B and C further. मतलब there is an option, मतलब ये तीनों, ये भी अपना प्रोसेस हो सकता है, ये भी अपना प्रोसेस हो सकता है, एंड ये भी अपना, 1 minute, ये भी अपना प्रोसेस हो सकता है. नाउ कैन आई से ऑल द 3 प्रोडक्ट्स हैव अ सेलिंग प्राइस एट द पॉइंट ऑफ स्प्लिट ऑफ? यस. And there is an option or there is a possibility that we can process the goods further. Now you will question me कि if selling price is there at the point of split off, then why do I process the goods further? अरे because process करने से तुम्हारा SP और बढ़ सकता है and there is a possibility of profits even increasing. बराबर? Tell me, common sense है, if SP at the point of split off is 100, will the selling price decrease after further processing? Obviously not. It is going to increase. Maybe the selling price has become A का 100 का has become 120, 80 has become say 95 and 150 has become 180. Is it possible? Obviously yes, because this processing, these 3 processing are going to involve costs. Processing ऐसे ही free में नहीं होने वाला. So you are incurring a cost to process A further. You are incurring a cost to process B further and you're also incurring a cost to process C further. So process करना है तो cost तो incur करना ही पड़ेगा and you are incurring a cost because you are anticipating a bigger selling price and that is bound to happen. बराबर? Now how do you decide, or in this concept of depth in processing, we have to decide, we have to make a decision कि अपने को प्रोडक्ट यहाँ बेचना है 100 रुपये में या अपने को बेचना है इधर 120 में. तुम बोलोगे 120 is a higher price, might as well sell at 120 only. अरे but we have to compare the additional cost incurred as well due to processing, right? बराबर? So depth in processing is nothing but compare the sale value at split off. By the sale value, I don't mean selling price. Always multiply SP into output at split off. This will give you sale value at the point of split off and this will be some number. ठीक है? Then you compare the sale value of the final stage. Final stage obviously means post processing. This will give you a number. Obviously, this number is bound to be less and this number is bound to be more. बराबर? Generally. So whatever is the difference, that difference will be known as the incremental sale value. बराबर? This is the extra sale value that we have achieved or we are going to achieve if we process the goods further and obviously sell it out. Our objective is to sell it out, not just to stock the goods. ये जो अपना additional sales value है, this additional sales value is to be compared अरे किधर चला गया? This is to be compared with the incremental processing cost. This incremental sale value has to be compared with the incremental cost of processing, obviously after split off. And common sense है, if my incremental sale value is more than the incremental cost of processing, only then will the decision be made to process the goods further. And this entire thing is called depth in processing. Should we go further deep? Should we go further deep to process the goods further? If yes, go ahead. If no, don't go ahead. अभी if no मतलब क्या होगा? If the incremental sale value is say 10,000 rupees, मतलब तुमने प्रोडक्ट को बाद में बेचने से you are going to get 10,000 rupees more. But the processing cost turns out to be 14,000 rupees. Now it makes absolutely no sense to spend 14,000 rupees and get only 10,000 rupees more. In this case, the incremental sale value of 10,000 rupees is less than the incremental cost of 14,000, because of which the depth in processing decision will not be made. तो तुम बोलोगे don't process the goods further, you will sell the goods at the point of split off only when the incremental cost is more than the incremental cost of or the incremental value of sale proceeds or sale value, and you will process the goods further if the incremental sale value exceeds the incremental cost. It's a common sense decision that you are going to incur further cost only when the incremental revenue is more than that. कोई गधा ही होगा जो 10,000 earn करने के लिए 14,000 spend करेगा. Especially when you have an option of not spending 14 to 10. So अगर तुम्हारे पास option है तो क्यों तुम spend कर रहे हो? So you will conclude by saying that since my incremental sale value is less than the incremental cost, I will not process the goods further. And ulta also is valid, that if the incremental sale value is exceeding than the incremental cost, then in that case you decide to process the goods further. बराबर, ये था अपना कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ डेप्थ इन प्रोसेसिंग. सो ये भी अपना डिस्कस हो चुका है. तो अपना सब कुछ डिस्कस हो गया है एक्सेप्ट वन लास्ट थिंग, दैट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ बाय प्रोडक्ट्स. बराबर, ठीक है. लेट अस टॉक अबाउट द बाय प्रोडक्ट्स एज वेल. नाउ मैंने लेक्चर के स्टार्टिंग में मैंने मेंशन किया था दैट जॉइंट प्रोडक्ट्स and byproducts both can be used simultaneously to talk about. Joint products and byproducts are almost the same, थोड़ा फर्क हो सकता है. Now what do you mean by joint product and what do you mean by byproduct? अगर minutely differentiate करेंगे तो generally byproducts are something that we also want to sell in the market. Joint products, मैंने क्या बोला, I hope I said joint products. Joint products are something that we intend to sell in the market. We want to sell A, we want to sell B, we want to sell C as well, because they are joint products and I want to produce them jointly intentionally. Why? Because A may have a market at the split off, B may have a market at split off and C may have a market at split off. And अगर तुम्हारा market नहीं है at split off, so I have an option of processing the goods further so that I have a selling price final stage पे. So if my intention is to sell A, B and C and A, B and C have a market at split off or have a potential to have a market, then these are called joint products. ये अपना हो गया joint products का. Now what do you mean by byproducts? Byproducts generally are scrap proceeds. They are produced unintentionally. मतलब मैंने my intention was to produce A, लेकिन A प्रोड्यूस करते करते B प्रोड्यूस हो जाता है बिकॉज ऑफ द जॉइंट प्रोसेस का नेचर. तो प्रोडक्ट का नेचर ही ऐसा है कि A एंड B साथ में बनता है और मेरे को B चाहिए ही नहीं था. एंड फ्रैंकली B का मार्केट ही नहीं है. नोबडी वांट्स टू बाय B बिकॉज इट्स अ स्क्रैप प्रोडक्ट. सो इन केस ऑफ सच अ सिचुएशन इट इज प्रिफर्ड टू कॉल इट अ बाय प्रोडक्ट देन बी कॉल्ड अ जॉइंट प्रोडक्ट. रीजन बीइंग, इस प्रोडक्ट का कॉस्ट शीट नहीं बनेगा बिकॉज इसका सेलिंग प्राइस ऐसा सच नहीं है. दिस इज जनरली स्क्रैप्ड एंड इट हैज अ स्क्रैप वैल्यू. मतलब 50 पैसे, 1 रुपी, 2 रुपीज, इट विल बी अ वेरी स्मॉल scrap proceeds compared to the selling price of the main product. So the main product is the main product and the byproduct is like the scrap proceeds. Obviously the selling price will not be comparable at all. So this is the meaning of the term byproduct. Now how to solve questions when we are producing byproduct and not joint product? Simple है. Go as per the concepts. Concept क्या बोलता है? Cost sheet will be prepared for every product. तो तुम बोलोगे let us make a cost sheet for byproduct as well. But byproduct का अगर scrap proceeds है तो it is preferred that तुम उसका separate cost sheet नहीं बनाओगे. बराबर? So whatever is the sale proceeds of this scrap value, this will be obviously called the scrap proceeds, and the scrap proceeds will be shown as a deduction from the costs of the main product. ये अपना difference है, which means if I am producing A as the main product, I am producing B as a byproduct unintentionally, then in that case B का cost sheet नहीं बनेगा. Whatever is the sale proceeds of the product B, that I will show as a deduction from the product A's cost sheet. The question will specify where to deduct from. Generally you deduct from the factory overheads. If the question mentions deduct from admin cost, or deduct from admin cost. If the question mentions deduct from S&D, deduct from S&D. तुमको जो करना तुम कर सकते हो. But if nothing is mentioned, then this cost is generally deducted from the factory overheads stage, which means A का cost sheet will look like this. Joint cost so and so, plus post separation cost so and so, plus factory cost so and so, minus sale of scrap. Factory overhead so and so minus sale of scrap will give you factory cost, and then admin cost, S&D cost, total cost, and so and so. So you will not make a separate cost sheet as opposed to when we produce joint products. When we produce joint products of A, B and C, A will have a separate cost sheet, B will have a separate cost sheet, C will have a separate cost sheet, and all these cost sheets are going to start from the first row, and the first row will be share in joint costs, and then the respective cost sheets will obviously have the respective costs, because now the products were identifiable and now the costs were spent for A separately, B separately, C separately. So A's cost will go in A's cost sheet, B's cost will go in B's cost sheet, and obviously C's cost will go in C's cost sheet. This is not happening in this method because the product is a scrap proceed, so don't have a separate cost sheet for the same. So these were all the type of sums that we have solved. So in this session I'm simply going to help you revise these chapters by giving the chapters gist, So this was my joint products and byproducts. In the next video we'll be starting the next chapter, maybe service sector costing or contract costing, depending on what I decide. So well, that was joint products and byproducts. Hope this was helpful. All right, bye bye.